Well, we'll move on because we have another. Speaking of people not getting along, well,
in music, no.
But see, this is positive because this is an example of people being able to put their differences aside for the music. Because as the Gallagher brothers obviously have had to put their differences aside to reunite Oasis and do this tour, the members of Journey, our friends Jonathan Cain and Neil Sean, have also put their differences. Well, actually, I don't think they've put their differences aside necessarily, but there has been a detente. Because if you've been paying any attention to this, you know that they're in the middle of this stadium tour. Journey is. They're out on the road with Def Leppard, so doing a stadium tour. It's big business, and you've got band members suing each other while they're on tour. And over some disagreements of how money is spent by the company that they are directors of. They each own 50% or have 50% control, I should say, not necessarily ownership. But Jonathan Cain and Neil Sean each having 50% control over this company. And they each like to spend a lot of money and then they get mad at the other. And it's a whole thing. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the show. This is being reported by, I like to give the site credit, digitalmusicnews.com, which is a great site. Don't stop believing in a Journey World Tour. The band is back on the road as members settle their legal differences.
Really?
And here's how they did it. And this is one of the options.
Back on. Now that's impressive.
It's all good. It's all good. It says, don't stop believing is in the possibility of a unified Journey, which has seemingly seen members Jonathan Cain and Neil Sean put their latest dispute to rest. There will be others, I'm sure, in the future, as history tells us. But that dispute, we reported closer to August, so the beginning of August, so going on about a month, centered on touring-related disagreements between Cain and Sean, with each possessing a 50% interest in the companies responsible for handling Journey's dealings. The veteran musicians have for years clashed over expenses and a whole lot else. As it pertains to one of the companies, Freedom 2020, the two couldn't agree on matters including tour accommodation expenditures, security costs, the employment status of various personnel, and more. Alleged unilateral spending on the part of Sean was a particularly significant issue, Cain described. And yeah, when we talked about this before, we talked about, spending, $10,000 a night.
There was an accusation of a $10,000 hotel room.
Yep.
I bet that really exists too.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
Grotesque greed.
And maxed out company credit cards. And the thing about personnel differences, apparently on the current tour, one of the members, Sean or Cain, might fire somebody, and then the other member is upset and hires that person back. Just a lot of dysfunction. I read, too, there was even some disagreement between them about whether or not Jonathan Cain should be playing guitar on the song Wheel in the Sky.
Why not?
Well, technically he's the keyboard player, but he does play guitar. He does. So
what? Don't play guitar?
Well, he plays
on somebody else's toes.
He plays rhythm guitar on Stone in Love. I think there's a couple Stone in Love, but he has to, right? That song would sound really strange with one guitar. So he plays rhythm guitar on that. Neil Sean, of course, the lead player on that. And I think he's always also played on Wheel in the Sky. But I guess there was a disagreement, like Sean didn't want him to play guitar on Wheel in the Sky or something. Really weird. So according to this, so it says, the hang-ups which brought about the cancellation of the UK leg of the band's ongoing tour came to light in a late July filing submitted by Cain to the Delaware Chancery Court. In the action, the 74-year-old asked the court to appoint a third-party director to Freedom 2020 so as to remedy the deadlock between him and Sean, who held all voting rights over so many of the famed rock group's business moves. Given the 50-50 voting rights structure, it was proving exceedingly difficult to agree on operational details and to appoint another director, Cain explained in more words. Furthermore, the announcement arrived after Sean last week acknowledged that he and Cain, quote, don't always see eye to eye on everything, or sometimes on pretty much anything, unquote. But the 70-year-old also expressed a desire to bring on the third-party director and move past the friction on the tour as the tour could proceed. So the tour could proceed. Running with that point, the fresh statement from Kane's legal team reads, quote, Mr. Sean is prohibited from unilaterally acting on behalf of the company, and all future deadlock between Mr. Kane and Mr. Sean will be broken by the vote of the custodian. So just a third party to be a tiebreaker, effectively. As scheduled, this tour will see Journey perform in San Diego tonight, play 4 more stateside shows through September 8th, head to Brazil and Chile later that same month, and then entertain fans in Japan well into October. At present, the group doesn't appear to have rescheduled the previously noted UK dates, which had originally been teed up to begin in October as well. Well, yeah, and that's going to be hard for them to just reschedule those. I mean, they're on, because it's not just them. They're on this stadium tour with Def Leppard. So, well, we'll see how long this lasts and how long that the détente remains.